Let me know if you can hear me. I am using, obviously, not my normal streaming software. I'm just using the laptop, just using the inbuilt laptop webcam and microphone. And yeah, obviously the lighting is not as good as normal. So yeah, let me know if you can hear me. I think you can hear me. There's little green dots coming up. And I don't know what the delay is like. Yeah, it could be a 20-second delay, which means you're only just getting this now. You can hear me. Excellent. Right. So yeah, my plan is to do a video diary each night. Now I didn't do one last night, but possibly I should have done. So this is day one. It is Tuesday night. I am now in the hotel. We finally arrived at about. I've lost track. I don't know. I don't know what time it is. I think it was about 9 o'clock. And to give you a summary of the journey so far, because it has been one disaster after another. So I left home. When did I leave home? Like 8:15 Monday morning. Vicky drove me to the train station. That part worked. We were a little bit late leaving, but that part worked. Vicky's in the chat. Thank you very much for dropping me at the station. And then I got on the train. And there was a little bit of confusion because for the first time, I'd booked a ticket using a new online system. And in the previous times that I've used the train, I got a code, and then I put the code in a machine, and the machine gave me the ticket. And I got there, and I didn't know what to do, and I had a code, and nothing worked. And I went to the counter, and this sounds silly. This makes me feel a bit silly. I went to the counter and I said, "I've got this e-ticket. What do I need to do to get a ticket?" She went, "That's your ticket." I was like, "Oh yeah." So, so I got the ticket. So a few people are here. Klaus is here. John's here. Scott's here, Kraken's here, David's here. Excellent. Thank you very much for joining me. Caleb's here, Stephen's here, Brendan's here. We got a multicultural, multinational crowd joining me. So anyway, got the train to London, absolutely fine. Got off Paddington train station. Now, every time I go to Paddington train station, which isn't very often, but every time I do, I go to a burrito store and I get a burrito because I love burritos. So I was really looking forward to it. All of the journey there, I was looking forward to having a burrito when I got to Paddington Station. So I did. And then I got on the tube, which was £5.50 just to get on one. It was like 5 or 6 stops. Went to Shepherd's Bush Market, met Dan in the van, got in the van. We're on the way. We've set off. Everything's fine until we arrived at customs. Which was probably about, what time would it have been? 2 o'clock, 2:30, something like that. And then everything started to go wrong. And since then, it has been a continual series of one problem after another. So if you don't want to hear 15 minutes of me complaining, I mean, I'm not complaining, because there's nothing really to complain about, although I probably will complain a bit. If you don't want to hear 15 minutes of everything that's gone wrong in the last 36 hours, switch off now, because yeah, nothing has gone right. So because of Brexit, obviously the UK is no longer a part of the EU. Therefore, when you are in a van and you have goods in that van that you are taking to another country, there is paperwork you need to fill in. Now, it's all very complicated. So the government on their website have got a list of brokers that will do this for you. Now, before I say any more, I just want to say that I'm essentially just a passenger in the van. Okay, so when I'm talking about these things, this isn't me that's organised any of this. Dan, who runs, is part of the Detective Society. Dan's booked all of this, and I'm going along with him, essentially as a passenger. So Dan sorted all this out. But anyway, knowing what paperwork you need to fill in is an absolute minefield. So what you do is you pay a broker, and Dan found somebody on the list. And there's a list of apparently 800 people on there, and you just have to choose randomly. So Dan looked into it, looked at a few of them, looked at some of the reviews, called them up, and basically chose one. Semi-random, but he got a good impression from this guy. And the company would do all the paperwork for them. So Dan gave them all of the information, said, this is what we're doing. We are transporting a van. It's going to have this much product in it. We are taking it to Germany to a trade fair where we are hopefully going to sell it. And then whatever we don't sell, we're going to bring back. Okay. Sounds simple, but it's not. And this is why you pay a broker to do it. So the broker did it. The broker did their job. The broker gave us all of the paperwork. We turned up at the Channel Tunnel, the Euro Tunnel, and they basically said, no, not the right paperwork. This is not right. So they directed us to the inland border. I can't remember what it's called. It's in Ashford. I mean, to be fair, the last 2 days have been an experience. I've done things in the last 2 days that I've never done before, and that I will probably, hopefully, never do again. So we ended up at this inland border control thing. Now, this is a massive, massive area where there are big trucks continually arriving. Okay, there are dozens and dozens of people directing all of the trucks to various places, and basically, it seems to be that every truck that arrives from overseas has to come here first and deliver paperwork, do COVID tests and everything else before they get released. We got directed back there because we didn't have the right paperwork. So they basically, directed us back to this place. Now, obviously, at the time, Dan's on the phone to the broker saying they've not accepted the paperwork and everything else. So we went back up the motorway to this place. And we got directed, and then we had to go somewhere. And because we didn't have high-vis jackets, they had to escort us. And we were basically in this building. And as I said, there's loads of truck drivers in here, all with paperwork and all doing sorts of stuff. And we felt very out of place. We're just two guys with a van, with some board games. We're not like a massive 18-wheeler bringing in huge amount of goods or anything like that. And they basically said, you need an LRN number and you need a T1 and you need this and you need this. Anyway, cut a long story short, 2 hours later, we are still there. We've been going back and forth with the broker agent saying you don't need this. And what seems very simple, what seems like a very simple, we're just taking some stuff to Germany and whatever we don't sell, we're going to bring back, is massively, massively complicated because at this inland border, whatever it's called, we spoke to one person who then had to speak to somebody else, who then had to call border control, who then called somebody else. And basically, there's 5 of them having a discussion near us about what to do. And then they're calling the broker, and the broker's saying he's following government website advice, and that says you don't need the LRN number, and them saying this. Anyway, it went round and round in circles. And me and Dan are like, we don't know. Now, possibly the funniest part of this, I told Vicky this last night and she couldn't stop laughing. So there's me and Dan, and we're both wearing our masks, and we're in this place, and we finally get to the counter at the front, and we speak into this gentleman. Now, Dan's doing all of the talking. I didn't really need to go in, but I was kind of keeping Dan company. So, Dan was doing most of the talking because it's his van. He knows all of the stuff. But then as Dan was filling in something, this guy turned to me and said, could you fill in some of this? Could you help out? You his dad? I was like, seriously? I'm like, do I look like, I don't know. So I got mistaken for Dan's dad. Now I could be, the age difference is such that I could be, but that was a new thing for me. So so that was that. Anyway, the long and short of it is we had to have this LRN number. There is nothing we could have done without this LRN number. So we spoke to the broker again and again, and the broker's like, well, it's 5:30. And this wasn't the broker, this was the agent. And the agent's been trying to get hold of the brokers. And he said, look, I've been speaking to the team in Germany. They finished for the night. And basically, we're sat there. And he said, there's nothing we can do tonight, but I will do my best tomorrow morning to have it for you. And we're like, now I'm there thinking, you're going to do your best? And I'm like, I'm not having this. So we're in the situation where It's really uncomfortable because we don't know if this is going to be sorted. This isn't just a case of, oh, yeah, I'll fill the form in and get you it's done. This is, we don't know. And the agent or whatever said, I will do my best to have it done for you tomorrow morning. And we said, well, when? Because our plan was to stay overnight in Calais and then get on the road from France at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock the next morning. And he said, well, I hope to have something back to you by noon. So at this point, we're looking for a hotel to stay in Ashford. And we're like, noon's not good enough. And now you've got the point. And then the guy starts talking about additional costs. And we're like, we've paid you, well, Dan's paid him to do the right paperwork. He hasn't done the right paperwork. He's now saying it might be done by tomorrow morning at 12 o'clock. And it's going to cost extra. So it wasn't a good situation. Anyway, me and Dan, we booked into a Premier Inn in Ashford, and we had some food, and then we thought, right, there's nothing we can do tonight. We are absolutely powerless. We just got to get some sleep, and then tomorrow morning we'll see what happens. During the game of Spirit Island that we played last night, the guy called up and gave us an LRN number. So clearly he was trying his hardest, and he actually managed to do whatever he needed to do, and he gave us the LRN number. This was good news. So me and Dan went to bed last night, not together, even though he is my son. We were okay, because in the grand scheme of things, the plan was that we would be leaving Calais around 9 o'clock in the morning. As it is, we are going to get up at 8. We are going to go to the border place. We are going to give them the LRN. We're going to get the paperwork, and we're going to be over, and it'll all be okay. And we've lost the cost of the hotel in Calais, and obviously had to pay the cost of the hotel in Ashford, but we should only be a couple of hours delayed. So that was the idea. So we got a semi-good night's sleep, got up the next morning, had a really nice breakfast, got on the road, went to this inland border place, and they took all of the details. They took the LRN number, but they said, oh, do you have such and such a thing? And do you have such and such a thing? And we're like, no. And we reminded them that we were here for 2 hours yesterday. And at that point, you told us the only thing we needed to give you was the LRN number. You had everything else. You only needed the LRN number. So they said, oh, okay, give us all of the stuff. I will pass it on to border control. What's your phone number? And we will text you when it's ready. It will be about 45 minutes. Okay. So Dan's come back to the van, and we're sat in the van, and we're going through the Essen list, and we're doing whatever else we can do. We're reading through some of the other paperwork for Essen and this, that, and the other. And an hour later, we hadn't heard anything at all. So we're sat there for an hour in this big truck stop place, with all of this filled with massive 18-wheelers of all of these drivers, and half of them are sleeping. We don't know what's going on. Anyway, after an hour, Dan went back. 30 minutes later, he came back to me and he said, oh, yeah, there's been some complication, this, that, and the other. But ultimately, he came back with what we thought was the right paperwork. So we leave and we go back to the Eurotunnel, and we arrive at the Eurotunnel. Now, at this point, Dan's ticket from yesterday that he'd booked to get on it, that had to be refunded and cancelled and everything else. So they did all of that. Then we gave them the paperwork, and he went, yeah, beep, straight through. So, okay, we're on, right? We're through. Now I've done the Eurotunnel a number of times as a passenger. I've never done it as freight. So we had no idea what to do at all. So we're driving along, we're following this big truck, and this guy's telling us where to go. And we drive on to, it's a train, but it's an open train, okay? It's got kind of girders or bars on the sides, but it's just open. And I'm like, well, what are we doing? Do we just drive onto this and then sit in this? And it's literally just a shell, and it goes through the tunnel, and we see the walls as they're going past. I mean, how does this work? And we've no idea what we're doing. So we park behind a big 18-wheeler, and then this guy comes up and says, "Come on, you got to get out, you got to get out." And we're like, what? So we grab all of our stuff quickly and we get out, and there's a bus waiting for us. And basically all of the trucks park on this big long train, and then the drivers get out, and this bus drives along the side and picks them all up one by one. Then the bus turns around, drives to the front of the train where there is effectively like a train carriage, and all the drivers get on. So there we are. We're on this train carriage filled with truck drivers. And then that goes through the tunnel. So we arrive in France. We are now in France. Huzzah. But when we got to the other side, we leave the Eurotunnel. And as we're driving along, this big sign above our head flashes with our registration with a big orange arrow. So we had to turn in at French customs, I guess. And they then... Dan was gone for another 30, 40 minutes while they looked at all of the paperwork and everything else. And yeah, it was okay. They let us through. So at this point, we are on the road. We are on the way. We are probably 3 or 4 hours behind schedule. Now, the plan was that we would be arriving at Essen Spiel sometime around 2, 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. We would be parking the van. We would be unloading some of the stuff. We'd be going into the messe itself. We'd be having a look at the booth and making sure everything was all right. And then we'd be coming back to the hotel. That was the plan. However, we are now quite late. So at this point, we're now not sure whether we are going to be able to actually go to the messe or not. So as we were driving along, we decided... we're not going to be able to get to the messe tonight. We're just going to go straight to the hotel. Now, there are 2 other problems at this point. While we were traveling, I was looking through a lot of the paperwork that Dan had sent. The first problem was Dan didn't have exhibitor tickets. We had setup tickets, which were only valid for the setup days. We did not have exhibitor tickets. We sorted that out. Dan went onto the website and we ordered the exhibitor tickets, and that's done. But I'm just listing this catalogue of all of these things we had to do. The next thing is, as I'm looking around, I find that the whole area around Essen in Germany is a low emissions zone, and your vehicle has to have a green ticket in the windscreen. And if you don't have a green ticket, then you get a big fine. We don't have a green ticket. So it's like, great, how do we get a green ticket? So we're there. Dan's calling Tristan, who's back in the office at the Detective Society. We're looking on various websites, and basically you have to get to a garage or a car dealer or something like that, and they will take your details and they will issue you with one of these green certificate things. The problem is most of them close at 5 o'clock. So we did manage to find one that closed at 7, but we were going to cut it fine. We put it into the sat nav, and it looked like we were going to get there at about 6:45. However, then we start hitting traffic and roadworks and accidents and everything else. And all around Antwerp, there's all sorts of problems. Cut a long story short, there is no way we were going to make it in time. Okay. So we then finally arrived at the hotel at around 8 o'clock. The plan is tomorrow morning to go and get one of these green low emission tickets as soon as we can tomorrow morning. So that's the plan for tomorrow morning. We've got the exhibitor tickets. Okay. We've nowhere to park the van. The plan was we have a parking space next to the messe, but we can't just turn up there at 8 o'clock. It's all closed. Plus, that parking space is a good few miles from the hotel. So we decided that we'd try and park at the hotel. Now, again, we'd all been planning this along the way, and we'd looked it up, and the hotel has a car park. This Premier Inn has a car park. Great. We can just park it here for the night. So We arrive now. The Premier Inn in Essen, which is where I am right now, is right next to the train station. Train station is right down there. And next to the hotel is this car park. So I thought, well, is that the car park for the hotel? Because this looks like one of those temporary drop-off point car parks. It's got taxis all over the place. And as we drove in, the sign said 30 minutes, like €2, 1 hour, €5, 1 day, €150. And I'm like, this can't be the hotel car park. This is just a short stay drop-off point car park. This is not the right place. So Dan pulled up by the side. I came into the hotel and I spoke to a woman on the reception who I haven't seen since. And I said to her, I said, hi, we are staying here for the next 5 nights. I don't want to check in just yet. We have a van. Could you tell me, do you have a car park? Where we can park the van? Is it this car park just outside? And she was like, no car park. No. So she then started saying, oh, you could park it on the street. I was like, we don't want to park it on the street. She said, well, there are car parks. And she started saying, I think there's a car park round there. And I said, do you have the details? Could you help us? So she started, she said, oh, I'll have to Google it. So there she is on her phone looking for it. And she's taking ages. There's another 2 guys there. She's not asking them for help at all. In the end, she gave up. She said, I can't find it. But she says, you need to go out here, go left again, go behind the train station, and then you'll see it. It'll be a car park. Okay. So we leave the hotel. And at this point, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm hungry. We now leave the hotel. We follow the directions that she said. We get onto one of the main roads in Essen Centre, and we see all of these signs for car parks. Now, we did tell her that we were in a van. And all of these car parks are all multi-story car parks there's no way we'd have got in. We were in quite a big van. So we're basically driving around Essen, looking for these car parks, at which point we are miles away from the hotel. And we just said, look, this is silly. Now, Simon and Aidan from Dranda Games, I have been talking, they are here in a van. They're staying at the Ibis next door. And they're in a van. And I've been talking to them during the day because we've been having obviously issues. And they were having some issues as well. So I've been chatting with them during the day. And I said, where are you parking your van tonight? And they said, we're parking our van at the Ibis Hotel. I was like, oh. So I went onto Google Maps and I saw that right next to the Ibis Hotel, which is next door to here, is a car park. So we left, we drove all the way back to the Premier Inn. We then drove to the Ibis Hotel. I popped in and I said, look, we're not staying here at the hotel, but are we able to park our van next door? Is that okay? And the guy said, yeah, absolutely fine. €10. You can park it here for the night. Great, bargain. Except we got a big van. So we parked it in the hotel, in the car park next to the Ibis. As we were walking back from the Ibis back to the Premier Inn, we walk past the Premier Inn car park, which says Premier Inn Parken, €12. Now, I haven't seen that woman on reception yet, but I don't know which part of we have a van we'd like to park here. She didn't understand that she decided to send us round the houses driving through Essen when the Premier Inn has a car park next door. Anyway, we're in the Ibis car park. It's like 2 or 3 minutes walk up the road. It's okay. Then we come to check in. Something happened tonight that has never happened to me before, will probably never happen again. So we have 3 rooms booked at this hotel. Now, because of COVID restrictions, Dan has had to give them the names of the people that are staying in these rooms ahead of time. However, that changed because Dan has booked 2 double rooms, one for me and Dan, one for Joe and Nick, and a single room for Jess, who is female, which is why she's got a room on her own. Now, Nick couldn't make it in the end, so Nick has been replaced by Kirsty. However, that's not going to work with Kirsty sharing a room with a man that she doesn't really know. So, dead easy. And these double rooms are twin rooms, okay? Kirsty and Jess share, Joe and Dan share, and I get a single room to myself, okay? Which is great for me. So we think this is all fine. So we turn up and we say we'd like to check in, and here's the booking reference number, and here's all the stuff. And the guy's looking very confused. The guy on reception is looking very confused because he said, yeah, he said, have you been here before today? No. Well, one of the rooms has already been booked out. Okay. Well, let's have a look. And we went through the names and everything. He said, yeah, this here, Jess Lloyd Jones. She's here. We're like, no, she's not. she's still in the UK. And he went, well, she's arrived and the room has been booked out and it's all allocated to her. So anyway, 40 minutes it took. And now at this point, I'm quite angry. I'm hungry. We're stood in reception. We've been traveling for almost 2 days and it's taking 40 minutes to sort out our room bookings. Now, they still don't, but I basically said, call the room, ring the room, or go up to the room, find this person who has checked in. And I said to them, maybe somebody turned up with the same name, like Jess Lloyd Jones. I mean, what are the chances of that? But go to the room, right? So he sent somebody to the room and he went in and he said, okay, the room hasn't been checked in. Nobody's in the room. So there's obviously some kind of administrative error that has been made. And I went, maybe she's a ghost. Maybe, I don't know. I was trying to make light of the situation. But essentially, the entire system here completely broke because one of the rooms had already been checked out by this person. And they were on the system. It was all that they booked in. But they couldn't find the paperwork to say that she'd signed anything because, of course, it didn't exist. So anyway, 40 minutes later, it is all now sorted. We have 3 rooms, and I am now in the room that was previously booked out by Jess Lloyd Jones. So I don't know, maybe while I'm sleeping, somebody called Jess might turn up saying, what are you doing in my room? It's been, yeah, I think that's it. I think that is the end of all of the, I think there's probably more stuff. To be honest, it's been, yeah. So tomorrow, we need to get the green ticket for the van. We need to work out, because P3 is not an unloading spot. So we need to work out where we need to take the van to unload the stuff. And then we need to then move the van to P3. We've got the exhibitors tickets now. I've got my exhibitors ticket. I probably need to print it out or something like that. I don't know. I've made my list of all of the people that I need to go and see. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that is everything. Other than, I mean, what can I say? I'd like to tell you some happy stuff. I'd like to tell you some positive, but that's been my life since I left home on Monday morning until I got here. Yeah, that's been it. That has been basically a summary of the journey. It's been tricky. The whole point of leaving on the Monday morning was that we could have a leisurely drive here so that there was no stress, so that we would get here in plenty of time, so that we could just, chill out and everything else and everything to be fine. And that's gone completely to plan. Right. Anyway, let's have a look at the chat. Thank you very much. I need to write a book. No, I don't need to write a book. Is there somebody behind me? We need to make a game of this. There definitely needs to be a game of this. Can you do an auto check-in at a distance like a flight? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, great content for my budding stand-up routine. Yes. Oh, food. I went to a crappy little fast food restaurant because I just needed something hot. And I've been surviving off flapjacks and bananas. And I have to say, and Vicky's probably watching this, Vicky made us some flapjacks for the journey. They have been an absolute lifesaver. And I have to say, they are probably the nicest flapjacks. Every time I had one, I said, these are the nicest flapjacks that I've ever had. So thank you very much, Vicky, for the flapjacks. Yeah, they were they were really nice. And yeah, whole bunch of grapes, packet of bourbons, bananas, yeah, all sorts of. Am I in the correct time zone? Yeah. So as soon as we crossed into France, as soon as our phones and everything picked up a signal, yeah, then it converted to the time zone. Oh yeah, and my phone died. It didn't die of battery. It still had 15% battery. But the problem is, just as we were driving around and everything else, because I was using my iPad tethered to my phone for internet, the phone suddenly lost internet connection. I don't know what's wrong with my phone because I've got it plugged into the wall. Oh, it's now at 41%. How strange. Yeah. So earlier on, but it's not getting a service. I'm really not getting a service in the room. And of course, YouTube wouldn't let me on until it authenticated me, which needed a signal on my phone and everything else. It's just been one of those days. It'll get better. I'll have so much fun this week. I hope so. I mean, you know, those people who follow me, I did some private streams for Patreon supporters over the weekend, and I did sort of explain that deciding to come was a very difficult choice. It's putting aside all of the issues we've had in the last 2 days. It was already causing me a lot of anxiety coming for various reasons. This hasn't made it any worse, but there have been a number of times yesterday and this morning where I thought, I just want to go home. I have had enough of this, and I don't want to do this anymore. And I just want to go home with Vicky and the cats and finish the ISS Vanguard rulebook because I'm tired of this. Now, I am going to have some good times over the next few days. First of all, I am going to see people who I've not seen for 2 years, okay? I am going to see Patreon supporters who I've not seen for 2 years, or Patreon supporters who I've never met. That's going to be great, okay? I am going to see lots of new games. I am going to see, I mean, some of those games that we covered on Saturday's live show, I am super excited about, okay? Now, the reality is, if we take somebody like Tom Heath from Slicker Drips, Tommy's not going to Essen, right? But Tommy's going to get all of the same games that I'm going to get, probably. He's already got more. He's got some of them already. He's already got Messina. He's already got Gollum. So he's already got some of them. I didn't need to come to Essen. All of the games which I am picking up at Essen, I could have got anyway. I don't need to have come to Essen to get them. So in terms of content for the channel moving forward, I don't need to have come here. There's a lot of content creators who are not coming here, who are going to get all of these games, and they are going to cover them on the channel as well. So I didn't need to come here for that. I am looking forward to seeing people. I'm probably not going to get a chance to play that many games or demo that many games. We've got the gaming rules meetup on Thursday night, which is going to be good. And I'm going to be demoing Under Falling Skies for CGE for the first 2 hours of each day. I love demoing games. I love demoing Under Falling Skies. So I'm going to be doing that. So if you are at Essen, if you're watching this video and you are at Essen, and you want me to teach you how to play Under Falling Skies, then come by the CGE booth between 10 and 12 each day. Now, I say between 10 and 12. Don't turn up at 12 o'clock and get me to demo, because my shift finishes at 12 o'clock. So you need to come really sort of between 10 and 11, 11:15. I'll probably only be able to do 2 demos of it, maybe 3 at a push. But anyway, that's that. Yeah, and it's yeah, as I say, there's going to be a lot of good times in the next few days. I hope. I have severe sleeping issues when I'm away at events. I suffer from a lot of anxiety-related insomnia, to the point where I might get 2 hours sleep a night if I'm lucky, maybe 3. that over a period of days, for anybody who suffers from it. I mean, Essen is busy, right? I am going to be on my feet for 12 hours a day. It's going to be hectic. It's going to be mad. It's going to be crazy. And then I come back to the hotel, and if I can't sleep till 5 or 6 in the morning, that's a problem. Cross fingers. Let's hope. I don't know. It really depends. Sometimes I have these sleeping issues when I'm okay. If I don't have anything, it's not like, oh, you've had a bad day, you're not going to sleep. It's sometimes there's no connection to it. It's an underlying issue that's difficult. So I don't know. I'm just crossing my fingers. Last night I got to sleep fine. I did wake up at 5 in the morning and I couldn't get back to sleep afterwards. But last night I fell asleep and I managed to get about 5 hours sleep. So that's a good start. Anyway, what's happening in the chat? Yes, we all know the want to go home feeling. Yeah. The universe is trying to tell me something. People mess up everything they can, however, prepare. Yeah. The thing is, I've had enough of life experiences. I don't want any more. I just want things. I want things to be easy. Have I seen the pictures of the giant version of Under Falling Skies? I have seen the pictures. I saw those pictures before other people saw those pictures. Those pictures were going around on the CGE Slack channel about a week and a half ago. They've just posted them to social media now. So if you don't know what we're talking about, have a look at Czech Games Edition's social media. They have posted the pictures of these very large Under Falling Skies games, Under Falling Skies that they've printed out, and that's what I'm going to be using to demo, which is going to be great. Can I teach you how to beat Under Falling Skies? Yes. What you do is you roll the dice, and then while nobody's looking, you change the numbers on the dice to the result you want, and then you basically you win. It's really easy. Yeah, Jonathan's been playing one deck dungeon in the lobby. Does that mean you're here, Jonathan? I didn't think you were coming. Let me know with the 20 seconds delay. Oh, can we have the recipe for the flapjacks? Right. Okay. So Vicky, if you're still watching, can you post the recipe for the flapjacks on the random channel? If it was a recipe that you followed. Yeah, I think it was, because you were weighing the golden syrup and everything, weren't you? Oh, no, Jonathan's talking about UK Games Expo when he couldn't sleep, so he was playing one deck dungeon in the lobby. Right. Okay. Essen is a life experience. The bed looks comfy. Let's have a look at the bed. Is the bed? Well, the bed's a complete mess. I basically got in, dumped my stuff on the bed, and went out for a currywurst and chips, and that's what I've had. I am done. I'm thirsty. I'm going to get a drink. I'm then going to pull up some Marvel comics on my iPad. Probably play another game of Maracaibo on the iPad, and then fall asleep. My plan is to do these each night. It won't be as long, I don't think. Tomorrow night, all being well, I will have some special guests with me. But the plan is to just come back to the hotel. I'm on the free Wi-Fi here, but I think it's okay. As long as it's not the best quality because it's a laptop camera and the lighting is not in the right place and you're getting reflection from my glasses. But yeah, my plan is to do these every night. Now, tomorrow is going to be very different because tomorrow is setup day of the booth, which isn't going to take too long. And I'm going to be wandering around tomorrow, saying hello to people, picking up a lot of games and bringing those games back. My plan is to do a lot of my pickups tomorrow because it's a lot easier for me and everybody else to do it on the Wednesday. However, I've made a big list of all of the exhibitors and publishers that I want to go and see. There's a lot of them. There's about 20, 25 of them. And a lot of these people I know. Robert, who's going to be working at the Arcane Wonders stand, Ulrich from Queen Games, Tony at Lauter Pellet. Well, not to mention the people at CGE, who I've known for 8 years, 10 years. I'm going to be seeing these people. I'm going to be chatting with them. Tomorrow is going to fly by before I know it. It isn't just, hello, give me your games and disappear. It's catching up with these people. Vlaja might be there tomorrow, or he might be there Thursday. I don't quite know. But yeah, tomorrow, that's tomorrow. Thursday, Friday, Saturday that's when the hall's open to the public, and that's where it's going to be absolutely Absolutely crazy. Totally lost the stream. YouTube is in perpetual loading. Is anybody else? Is it working? Is it working for anybody else? Hopefully it's still working for other people. Yeah, everything will get better. Yeah. Working fine. Okay, it's all working. Anyway, and I've got to call Vicky before bed as well. So we're all done. Yeah, tomorrow night, as I say, I'm going to be leaving the halls probably around 6 or 7 o'clock. We're then going to be going for some food and then probably coming back here. I mean, I'd like to play a game tomorrow night. So tomorrow night's stream might be quite late because I want to play a game. Right, one of the games that we pick up tomorrow, I want to bring back to the hotel and I want to play it. I don't know what it is. Don't know what game I'm going to pick up. It might be Messina 1347 because Delicious Games are going to be there. I'm going to see Vlada and his wife tomorrow and pick up Messina 1347. So it might be that. But to be honest, if I'm really tired, do I want to learn how to play that game after a long, long day? I don't know. We will see. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now. Thank you very much to everybody for joining me. Yeah, it's been great. 116 people watching live. It looks like there's 116 people watching this live, which is more people watching live than I have for most of my playthroughs. Maybe I should stop playing games. Maybe I should just do live diary updates. Moving on. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna disappear for now. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Sleep well, everybody, and I will speak to you tomorrow.